Project Zomboid is essentially The Sims, but now not only do you need to babysit your character, you also need to make sure they don't end up as your neighbor's dinner. You take on the role of, well, whoever the fuck you want to.
Good news, everyone!
During character creation, you can select a profession as well as a bunch of both positive and negative character traits, some of which will drastically impact how you play the game. Were you a humble burger flipper before the end times? Maybe a carpenter or mechanic. Maybe you were an unemployed genetic dead end and now somehow you have to survive the end of the world. Either way, this is your origin story. You determine who and what your character is. Be what you want to be, or maybe don't. I highly recommend that you take a look at your own personal failings and make your first character you. Who knows? If you live long enough, perhaps you'll realize you're willing to put more effort into this tiny blob of pixels than you are yourself. There are 4 different playstyles to choose from. To start, I recommend you jump into the Apocalypse preset. But once you've got a character or 2 under your belt, switch it up to Custom Sandbox and craft your own unique setting. How long has it been since the initial infection? Is the power and water still on? Is it the dead of winter or the middle of summer? Do zombies sprint or shamble? It's all up to you. Personally, I prefer starting a little closer to the winter months, with a very small starting population of zombies that gradually ramps up as the days go by. After tweaking the game's settings to your own personal tastes, you're explicitly told that this is the story of how you died. There is no escaping your fate. Eventually, you will. Whether it's from a zombie bite or starving to death, it's up to you to determine how and when. To survive, you'll need to scavenge supplies from the neighboring buildings. Find yourself a home and ideally some wheels, and prepare yourself for when the infrastructure around you collapses entirely. Depending on your traits, it's totally viable to live in the middle of the woods with nothing but a tent. But if you're a shut-in like me, that sounds uncomfortable. I'd prefer a 2-story house with a fridge, stove, plenty of storage, and perhaps most importantly, a TV. In the early days, tune into the Life and Learning channel and aim to sit down and watch it every day at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. You'll thank me later. Now that we've got ourselves a cozy little spot chosen out and some food in the fridge, it would be a good idea to board up those windows, unless you want a group of late-night visitors. But I don't want to tell you what to do. It's up to you to set your own goals for your playthroughs. This game is more fun to discover on your own. The systems in place here are extremely detailed and realistic. So, if you just follow common sense, you might be lucky enough to survive your first day. But Brett, I hear you say, what do we do about all these zombies? Sneak past them. Combat can be exceptionally dangerous, and is best avoided if you can. Project Zomboid doesn't pull any punches here. If one of these disease bags manages to take a bite out of you, you're done for. You may manage to get away and live for a few days, but all bites end the same. Scratches have about a 7% chance to infect you, and lacerations 25%. My advice? Carry some disinfectant or alcohol wipes on you at all times, and you'll probably live. Probably. Just remember, this is the story of how you died. No character lasts forever. All it takes is a momentary lack of judgment, a bad call, and it's all over. But with each successive character, you learn a little more, live a little longer, go a little further, and may even thrive with time. I can't possibly talk about all the skills, professions, or traits and keep this video under 10 minutes long, so I'm not going to. Just know going in that there is a lot to discover, and it's going to take you an awful long time to get to grips with everything, but it's worth it. What awaits you is one of the most detailed and rich survival games there is on the market. I'm constantly learning something I didn't know before, a new way to tackle or overcome adversities, and, with a little luck, live to fight another day. A word of warning, though. Some things don't work like you'd expect. so you might have to dedicate a little time to decipher what the game wants from you. There is also a fundamental lack of an end game. Currently, once you reach a stage where you're both comfortable, safe, and well-geared, the only thing left to do is skill grinding. Which may not be the end of the world depending on who you are, but it's worth mentioning all the same. If you find yourself getting bored, I recommend you set yourself some attainable goals and work towards those. On the plus side, the Indie Stone is committed to expanding this portion of the game in the near future, and now with the release of Build 41, hopefully development will be considerably quicker. The Indie Stone is constantly and consistently communicating via their weekly blog posts on their website, and I, for one, have always very much appreciated the transparency, even if I wish they could work a little faster. You know what's funny? I didn't even mention that this game has full multiplayer support. Well, it does, and if you thought surviving this nightmare on your own was fun, wait until you do it with a couple of friends. Don't have any friends? How about a copious amount of mods available via the Steam Workshop? Things from quality of life improvements to fucking sailing! There are a lot to choose from. A couple of personal recommendations of mine would be better sorting and the expanded helicopter events. Go and check them out. If you can't tell, this is more of a personal love letter to the game and its developers than it is a review. I think Project Zomboid has deserved the spotlight treatment for far longer than it's gotten it, so this is a call to action. If you like survival games, hell, even if you're burnt out on all the garbage that is out there, I implore you to try Project Zomboid. It's incredibly deep, while still somehow remaining approachable, and I know you'll love it. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it, and do take care.
Ooh, I heard those.
Take that, fire.